Okay, good morning everybody. It's time for a quick lesson on creating a line graph. We're going to look at Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. This may look like a confusing graph, but you'll see pretty quickly that if you take it apart, you can find valuable information here. For instance, if I wanted to know what the record high was in Sault Ste. Marie in April, I would look right here and I can see that it's 27.8 degrees. If I wanted to see what it normally is, what's the daily mean or the daily average temperature, I can look there and I can see that in August it's usually about 17.2 degrees Celsius or 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so once I've got that information and I've started to take apart this information, I can begin to manipulate it. Now I'm going to be using a climate graph and or a line graph, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. I did want to mention that this all comes from Wikipedia. You can see up here that this is just simply Wikipedia, Sault Ste. Marie. So this information is available to anybody about any place. You can pretty much find everything. Okay, and I'm just gonna get, oops, I don't want to go too far. Okay, so I need some of this information and I need it on my page. I've got a WordPerfect page open here, but you can use any word processor. This little thing up here is what I use to create my graph. I don't need any more of it, so I've made my graph. I do, however, want to start putting some of my information from the other place on here. So I go back here and I'm going to open my Smart Tools, and in my Smart Tools I've got a capture button. So I can use this to capture some stuff. Now what I do is I just put it here and I drag over, and this lets me capture this. Now I also have a Smart Notebook file open. If you see down here, right down at the bottom, I will draw a line for you. Right there. I've got my Smart Notebook open, my file, and that's where my information is going to be kept. So there's one picture. Now I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to go to my WordPerfect and I'm actually going to paste it right here where the blinking cursor is so that I can come back and I can refer to this. And if I don't like it right there, I can click on it and move it up and it'll put it wherever I want it. Okay, going to go back over to my Sault Ste. Marie. Now I've decided that I'm going to do the daily average. So I'm going to clip this again. I need to keep this information. I want to keep it nice and simple, but I want to be able to see it while I'm working on my graph. So I highlighted it, and now I'm going to clip it, or I let go, and I go back to my Smart, and sure enough, there it is. Sure enough, there it is. Okay, so I cut it out, and I take it back to my WordPerfect, and I put it right here. I paste it, and voila. Not sure what happened there. WordPerfect sometimes likes to throw stuff all over the place like an angry child. Let's see if we can get it back up where it makes sense. Good, there we go. So, there. Okay, now everything's all nice and organized. We'll bring this down a little bit so we can actually work on our chart. Okay, now I'm going to pick up my pen. Now, I'm not going to be able to do it as nicely as you guys should be doing it. You're going to have, whoops, you're going to have the ability to do a lot better job because you can use rulers and stuff like that. I haven't figured that part out yet. Okay, I am making a chart or a climate graph, so I want to put, and it's about the average temperature and it's for Sault Ste. Marie. Again, I'm just going to do some abbreviations because I don't want to waste your time. I want you guys doing this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my tools here. Over on this, or down below here, I'm going to have the months. So I will put months right here. And then I'm just going to use abbreviations. I'm going to start with January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Okay, now the other thing is that I'm going to be recording temperatures, so I'm going to use my vertical axis to do that. So I'm going to just put temperatures, and then degrees Celsius. And now, of course, in Sault Ste. Marie, in January, it is less than 0 degrees. So I am not going to be putting a 0 here, which is what I usually do on graphs. I'm actually going to be putting minus 30. Minus 30. Because, yep, it gets cold here. Now I'm going to go up by tens. Minus 20. Minus 10, minus, I guess this wouldn't be a minus, it would just be 0. 0 can be minus or positive. We'll put a positive there. And then up here we've got 10, 20, 30, and 40 degrees, which it also doesn't get. Okay, now there we go. I have my horizontal axis, and that is months. I've got my vertical axis, and that is temperature. Now I want to start plotting my data. So this is what's going to make my graph valuable to people. So I look down here and I see that January, the average temperature in January is 10.5. Well, 10.5, I'm going to round my decimal, and you guys remember that we look at the key digit here, and if it is 5 or higher, this number goes up. So we're going to be going to minus 11. Okay, so minus 11 is actually lower than minus 10. Now we're going to plot right in the middle, not on the line, not here, not here. Okay, right straight above, because this is where we're going to plot it. You'll see why in a little bit after. All right, just gotta do this. Okay, so right there. February is 9.7. Okay, so not quite 10, right about here. Well, actually, it would be 10 according to our logic, wouldn't it? Because we're using rounding, so it would be 10, minus 10 degrees. Okay, now March is minus 4.4, so that would be actually minus 4. And so that's going to be just under halfway. And April is going to be 3.1, so that would be 3 degrees. So now we're above 0, so right about there. May is 10 degrees, getting warmer. So we're going to go right here. June, 14.5, so we'll go up to 15, which is exactly halfway between 10 and 20. July, 17.6, so we're going to go to 18, and that's going to be right about there. And August is 17.2, okay, so we're going to come down a little bit. There we go. September, 12.8, well, we'll call that 13 degrees, so that would be right about there. October is 7 degrees, so now we're below 10. And November is 0.5 degrees, so we'll call that 1 degree, so that would be right there. December is minus 6.3. Boy, we are chilling out again, and maybe a little bit lower than that. Okay, there we go. Now we have our graph. The only thing left to do for our line graph is to connect our dots. This is the fun part. So we connect them up here like this, and we go like that. There we go. Now we can actually look at this and we can tell things. And this is where we use a graph for practical reasons or real world connections. If I look at this graph and I'm a skier and I want to go to Sault Ste. Marie to go skiing, well, the only time I'm going to really want to go is probably January, February, March, Oh, it actually looks like it's a pretty good place to go skiing. November, maybe, and December. So it would be good to ski in Sault Ste. Marie because they have temperatures there that are below zero 5 months of the year on average. Okay, what about if I want to go and I want to go camping? Well, unless I'm a winter camper, I probably don't want to do camping in April because it's looking pretty cold there. But I would love to go camping during these months here. And we can tell that these are the summer months. We can tell when the winter months are. Here and here. It gets cold during these times. Below zero, that means it's winter. And interestingly, as the line graph begins to fall, we can also look and see that October, September, even November, these are the fall months. And it coordinates to the falling of the temperature. And over here, we can see that we are slowly climbing into higher temperatures, and that is our spring. There are all kinds of applications for a line graph like this. It tells you all kinds of things. You guys are going to be using some graph paper now, and you can make a climate graph just like this if you want to. You can even go a little bit you can do it a little bit differently. You can do a double graph. You could, instead of doing the average like I did, you could do the low, like the record low and the record high. You could do them both, and you could show me what is the coldest it ever gets in Sault Ste. Marie. What's the highest it ever gets? So I should spell that right. Um, or you could just do one or the other. It's up to you. Now it's your turn. I'm going to leave this up here, and you guys can go and make your graph. Like I say, don't forget important things. Take your time. Don't make it messy. Mine looks really messy, but that's because I'm doing it quickly, and I just want to show you basically how to do it. Take your time, do a nice job, make sure your titles are good, make sure you use rulers. You can use symbols for your months, but just like I say, take your time and do a good job. Anyway, if you've got any questions, you know where to find me.